Okay guys, we have another interesting topic that we'll be looking at, forming a quadratic equations when the roots are given. The first questions we'll be looking at, let's say this first question we'll be looking at under this topic. This is topic forming a quadratic equations when the roots are given. So construct a quadratic equations whose roots are minus 1 over 2 and 2. We'll be using two methods to construct the quadratic equations whose roots are minus 1 over 2 and 2. So we'll be using two methods. So our first method is in the form as x squared minus the sum of the root times x plus the product of roots equal 0. So what is this? Is the quadratic equations we want to construct, but in constructing the quadratic equations, the sum of the roots will be, we say sum meaning to I the roots. So we want to I minus 1 over 2 plus 2. We know that our whole number has a denominator of 1. Find LCD to be 2. Write 2. 2 into itself 1 time. 1 time minus 1 is minus 1. Plus 1 into 2 equal 2 times. 2 times 2, 4. So the sum of this thing, so we say the sum of root will be equal to this. So the sum of root is equal to 3 over 2, because minus 1 plus 4 is 3 over 2. This is sum of the root. The next one is the product 2. Minus 1 over 2 times 2 is just minus 1. So minus 1 over 2 is minus 1 times 2 is minus 2 over 2. Minus 2 divided by 2, you will get minus 1. So then we have this value, we can x squared minus the sum now we have is 3 over 2. This x is already here, plus the product of the root, we found it to be minus 1 equal to 0. Now, since we have 2 in the denominators, we can express the entire thing or multiply the entirety by 2 to get rid of the denominators. So 2 times x squared will give our 2x squared. 2 times minus 3 is 6. 6 divided by 2, we will just have 3 minus, because minus is equal to 0. So this 2x squared minus 3x minus 2 is equal to 0 is the equations. This is the equation. The other equations whose roots are minus 1 over 2 and 2. This is the equation. Quadratic equations whose roots are minus 1 over 2 and 2. The second method we use here is which is a coefficient. It can represent nth number. So we can say let x equal minus 1 over 2. And because since there are two roots, we can still use the x equal 2 and x equal to 2, because there are two separate roots. So x is equal to minus 1 over 2. This is like a proportion. So we cross multiply 1. So x times 2 is 2x is equal to minus 1. we bring 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. We keep this 1. We go to the next one. The x is equal to 2. Bring the 2 across, x minus 2 is equal to 0. Now we found the product of these two. We equate it, or we make it to be equal to 0. This, we take that 2x minus 1 times x minus 2 is equal to 0. So we can bring as 2x minus 1 times x minus 2 equal to 0. So 2x times x is equal to 2x squared.